Hey guys, how you doing? Uncle Bob here, back once again with another video, and today we're going to be checking out the latest uh, instalment of the Halloween Michael Myers figures that NECA have been bringing out. The new batch, which obviously they brought out the H6 figure, and now they've just brought out recently the H20 figure. And they've got the Resurrection figure coming later on, whenever that's going to be. But yeah, this is the H20 figure from obviously Halloween H20, 20 years later. Obviously 20 years later after the events of 78, obviously. And this was like a stylish version, remake, or not remake, but a sequel. 20 years later. Pretty cool at the time. I don't think I actually saw it until like a few years after, because I wasn't sort of really into when this was released. I was about 13 and 14, and I wasn't really into horror movies back then. I think it was only really I started watching them. I think I might have started watching them not long after this, maybe, but I didn't actually see this until a few years after. But yeah, the movie itself is, I think at the time maybe it weren't really that good, and a lot of sequels and stuff after the originals don't really get a lot of, people say they're a lot of crap and that, and I don't know if this was came across that well at the time, but as I said, it was a stylish type horror film. I think it's a pretty good movie, to be honest. Yeah, all right, it might not be as good as the first few, but I think it's a very good, not just a Halloween film, but a very good horror film to watch, especially on a Saturday night. I always set it up, so I always watch H2O and Resurrection on a Saturday when I'm watching Halloween films, because it's just cool, and they're just those type of horror movies like that you can watch on a Saturday and just chill, and put your feet up and just have a few snacks, and watch those on a Saturday. And yeah, I think it's got its problems with the movie, like for Myers himself, the mask looks terrible in this. I think his stature in this as well, he sort of looks a bit skinny. He's not like the unit, unstoppable machine that he looks like in 1 and 2, and even in 5 and 6. He looks hench and big, but he looks a bit, doesn't look like he's, doesn't look like he's a big unit in this. It looks like it's someone else, Myers. The mask is really bad in this. And I think there's a few other things in the movie that are not really that great. But I think in general it is a good movie. And I think it's like a lot of things that maybe they weren't that good at the time, but sort of over the years, it's sort of like, a lot of the films that you see back in the day, even though they're bad now, they're more better now. You just enjoy them more because it gives you a lot of memories of 10, 20, 30 years ago, whenever it was. And yeah, I think it's a generally good movie. And it's a really good thing to have the figure released now. It's a really, really cool box. The H2O design and stuff going on, and then obviously the iconic looks. It may actually be a case on this occasion that the figure might actually be better than it is in the actual movie, actually, to be honest. It's a case of, like, you see the figure and it's it's the mask is bad, but it's a good thing, because if they've made the figure as bad as it does looking at, then that's actually a cool thing, because you think, oh, all right, it does look bad as it does in the movie, but actually pretty cool that it does. Which is what I think anyway. And maybe, as I said, it's a case the figure might actually be I think because there's one image where the mask actually doesn't look too bad. You see there. There's one where he's got his hair sort of like, I don't know, sort of like looking fuzzy, and the mask looks a bit crazy with a bead with the massive eye holes. But there's one, as I said, there that doesn't look too bad. That image there doesn't look too bad, and there, as I said, the figure actually might be better than the movie version. But yeah, the movie, I don't think it looks that great. Certainly from certain scenes. But yeah, on here, it actually doesn't look too bad. Doesn't look as bad as it does in the movie. There's another good image. See there, he looks alright actually. I'm sure it doesn't look as bad as that. I'm sure in the movie it looks worse. I think they made the figure look. But in there, that's got the background of, I believe it's the Strode house. You know when he's looking at. So I'm not sure if that's the right image because I don't think, as far as I know, I don't think he, because there's the whatever it is, college campus or whatever. Like when he's running around, he doesn't. They don't go to the Myers house at all, do they? I don't believe at any stage. I think it's mostly set at the college campus or whatever it is. So I don't know if that is right. Certainly not from the movie, as far as I can recall. And you see there the diorama. I think that's, I believe it's. I'm not sure if that's the closet or maybe the sort of, because you see the flashback. You know the flashback where she's Jamie. Laurie's having a flashback and sees it come in the closet. I don't know if that's, but yeah, I'm not sure if that's right because I don't. As I said, I don't really see the Myers house, Strode residence, whatever, in the movies. For as around, only like a flashback scene when you see her in the closet, getting attacked by Myers. But yeah, they've somehow done that there, but I don't know what the deal is with that. But anyway, the figure looks, well, apart from the mask, doesn't look too bad, but yeah. This, now, when I did look at it, when I flipped the lid, because when you get these online, which I've got from eBay, I managed to get this for £60 on eBay, and I'm paying in instalments on Klarna, because over in the UK, we get these late, like weeks or months after they're going to be released in America, so we get these late, so I'm always getting them like weeks or months after, they're released. But yeah, and I paid 60, and it's like tariff charges, so it's usually 45, and it's like they're 60 now. But it works out cheap if you pay for instalments. It just works out cheaper. And yeah, if you pay an instalment, 60 or 45 is not really much difference, and it's like an extra £5 each time, which isn't not really much. But yeah, I managed to get it on eBay. As I said, yeah, when I flipped the lid, I was I'm still suspicious now that it may be a fake because you see the eyes clearly, and on here doesn't really see. You can see. I don't know if they just tried to make it look like that because they don't want people, as dark as possible so people can't see the eyes. But I'm a bit suspicious because I was a bit suspicious on the other one. Here's the NECA H6 figure. Actually, the mask looks pretty good on this. This actually might be real, but I was suspicious as it could be fake because I was looking at the mask, but I think it's all right. It may be on the other. I think, did you get another mask with this? I think there might have been, but yeah, I was a bit suspicious on this because see where the mouth area is. There's sort of like a bit of dark shading going. Yeah, I was a bit suspicious. So I don't know if this is genuine or a fake. I'm not really too bothered. It's going in my own collection, so I don't really care about what's fake and what's real, as long as I'm not trying to get fakes and sell them to people. I'm not the type of person that's going to do that. If I have fakes, they're going to be kept in my own collection. And so I don't really care if they're fakes or not. It's still the figure at the end of the day. You still get all the accessories. But yeah, there's a H6 figure. So yeah, I'm still suspicious. I don't know if it is genuine. I'm sure I'm going to get people commenting saying, "Oh, it's fake. It's fake." Because like I do with the other channels, as I said, I don't care, to be honest. As I said, I'm not getting these stuff and then selling it and then claiming that they're real. They're going in my own collection. I don't give a damn if they're real or fake. It doesn't bother me at all as long as I've got the figure and all the accessories. Anything else, I don't really care. But it could be fake. But I don't know because you can see the eyes. But I think actually on this one, I think on the movie you can see the eyes. It's not like one of the others, like 1, 2, 5, or 6. We can't see the eyes. I think you can actually see the eyes, so it probably could be real, but yeah, it could be fake. But yeah, the mask, yeah, really don't like the mask, especially this one, because I think there's a scene in there where his hair sort of goes like all fuzzy, and it just looks really bad. Because the mask doesn't look great itself, and then the hair going on with it like that, it just looks. So it's just like you can't really take him seriously. Like it's not like where people totally crap themselves when they see him in like walking around in the first one or the second one. Like it's just an absolutely uh, menacing looking. And you know if you see him in that walking around, if he was in back then, but in this, he's sort of like you just can't really take him that serious. It's sort of like comedy style. Like you look at his face, and it's sort of as if he's almost like you look at his eyes, and then you can see the eyes through the mask. And it's like, oh come on, I mean seriously. But anyway, yeah, as I said, because I think he does look like an enemy. If it starts when you see the figure, you think, oh yeah, it does look terrible. But because it does look like it does in the film, it's like, oh, actually, it looks actually quite good. But yeah, not yeah, I just don't like this mask at all with the eyes coming through. But as I said, it does quite look like it does in the movie, as bad as it does. Especially that bit where that scene is going on, where you see his hair all fuzzy. And I think there's another example of in Halloween Resurrection. I know it's a different mask in that, but there's a bit where he gets electrocuted and his hair goes all even worse than that, and it's like it just looks ridiculous. Now the coveralls, so going from the mask, the coveralls actually look quite good. They're quite dark shade of navy blue, I believe, which is quite like I quite like that. I'm not sure. I'm not too much a fan of sort of the lighter colours. I think the darker the better. So I think that's quite a good look. I think it's quite similar to it is on like the first couple of Halloween films actually. Because on the H6 figure, it's quite a lighter colour. They sort of went with a sort of lighter colour in that. I mean, it is all right, but I do prefer the more darker sort of navy blue. It's going almost along the lines of like sort of grey rather than blue, but yeah, I think it's like quite a light shade of navy. But this is a dark shade, and I prefer this a lot better, and it's really, really good. I think if you maybe actually swapped 78 or the one from Halloween 2 head sculpt, and you swap that on, that'd actually look quite good. I guess you could say like if you had all the NECA figures, you could do sort of like messing around, like swap the head sculpts around, and sort of you could probably even if you painted one, you could probably make one for like because I believe at the moment we're missing. So by the time Hate Resurrection comes out, we're missing like Disregard 3 because Mars has nothing to do with that. 4 and 5, I believe. So I don't have any figures from that yet. So maybe if you could like swap the head sculpts around, if you had a spare head sculpt and a spare body, you could make sort of like ones from 4 and 5, and then you could sort of make up the whole lot. So you had 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. But yeah, coveralls are actually all right. I don't know if they're spot on from the movie, but they look pretty good. Looks okay to me. Hands. I'm not sure if it's supposed to have any markings on, sort of, all the markings that happened in 2. Obviously, after the events of 2, when he gets set alight, he's got like scars and burns on his hands, but there's nothing that seems to be on there. But yeah, I think it's a pretty solid looking figure, to be honest. Apart from the mask, that looks pretty bad. Now, articulation. I think the articulation is pretty much the same as it is on most of the other Halloween figures, as far as I know. There's not much movement apart from sort of going from side to side on the head. That's about it. There's no up and down movement. The body is sort of like just all as one. There's no movement at all on there. The arms, I believe, do go up and down. Then there's a joint on the elbow as usual. And then obviously the hands, I believe, turn around 360 style. Now the legs always seem to be sort of quite restricted due to the crotch area going on. So they do move, but sort of like you can't get them in sort of high kicks or anything. Not that you would, because Myers don't do any sort of high kicks. But if you were to do that, or you wanted to get him into any poses, which can't see anyone doing, I mean, you're not going to have Myers on display with his legs sticking out. He's always going to be pretty much just standing there, holding a knife, and that's pretty much about it. Or an axe, or whatever you want. But yeah, there's pretty much the same as usual going on. We're just limited articulation on the legs. There's a joint there, I believe, which I'm not going to really move about too much. But yeah, pretty much the same as usual going on. Yeah, you pretty much get the gist of it. Yeah, but I mean, as I said, with this, you're only going to have him standing there, holding various weapons and changing the head sculpts, and that's pretty much it. You don't really need much movement going on. Accessories we need to talk about, because there's two masks or two head sculpts with this figure, and now I believe that one of them is the head sculpt, where there's all the confusion going on, which they mention in the beginning of Resurrection, where Myers, at the end of H20, when Myers supposedly gets killed by Laurie, I think she goes to finish him off, gets dragged out. Then what you don't see, which is explained in Resurrection, is Myers grabs a paramedic, crushes his larynx, I believe it is, or something, throat area, then places his mask over him, and then he must place the body back on the floor where he's supposed to be is. Yeah, so then he places the mask over it, so that people, paramedics, think that that's Myers. Well, obviously it's not, it's the paramedic. Myers obviously makes his escape, which you see in Resurrection. You don't see it in H20, but you see it in Resurrection what happened. Myers obviously makes his sneaky escape, so no one sees. Yeah, so then the paramedic is left, which you obviously don't see in H20, but you see in Resurrection. So you're thinking it's Myers. Laurie comes with supposedly Myers in the back of the ambulance. She takes an axe, gets Myers in the back of the ambulance, drives off. There's an accident. Myers gets out, ends up out of the ambulance. Then there's another thing where she tries to run him over, and then he ends up going off a hill. Yeah, but you pretty much know the outcome of what happens, and then obviously Myers is left impaled, or supposedly Myers, but obviously it's the paramedic. He can't speak. Obviously, he's impaled between the ambulance and a tree. He's stuck there, can't speak because obviously his lungs or his throat area has been crushed. He's standing there holding his arms out, realizing predicament he's in. He can't speak. He's trying to explain to him, and then holds his hands out. Laura thinks that's Myers, and then she chops his head off, and then obviously that his head sculpt's left rolling. And then it's only in Resurrection where you see when they pull the mask off and see it's the paramedic realizing what's happened. And so one of these, I believe, is the mask with the paramedic head in it. I believe it must be. Well, that's what I was thinking anyway. I mean, what would have been cool is, I'm only just guessing that one of these is that head sculpt. But what would have been cool if NECA, it would have been a nice touch, if NECA had actually done the head sculpt in the mask and you could actually pull the mask off to reveal the paramedic's head, would have been really, really cool. but on this it just seems to be just there. The head sculpt just does the mask. There's no, unfortunately, no paramedic head sculpt in that. I don't believe, I'm just going to take this off because I haven't seen what's underneath this yet. No, it seems to be the same. That's unfortunate because they missed a trick there. They could have put the paramedic's head and then they could have like pulled the mask off to see that. That would have been really good. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that one of those is meant to be that head sculpt, or I'm just going to pretend it is anyway, because that'd be really cool. I'm pretty sure it's that one, but I'm not too sure. I mean, it may even not be. There might be just Myers heads, but I don't see why they would make two. That's why I'm just led to believe that one of these is that paramedic head sculpt, because they've seemed got two the same. So I don't think they do two the same. The other one is definitely Myers because look at the dark eyes. There, that's definite Myers head sculpt. I believe it's like the darkest eyes, and that looks pretty cool because although you can see the eyes, when you're looking at it from that, you can't. And this is actually their head sculpt that I think actually looks not too bad actually. I'm sure it looks worse than this in the movie, but yeah, this head sculpt looks pretty good. Not like the ones that look quite terrible with the eyes. Yeah, so this is probably the head sculpt that I'm going to actually use when I've got it on display. But as I said, that head sculpt, yeah, it looks pretty cool. As you can see the eyes, but when you sort of like have it like that, and yeah, it's quite a good head sculpt. But as I said, going back to these, I believe one of these is supposed to be the paramedic head sculpt. I think it's that one, but I'm not too sure. It might not even be. It might not even be. But let's pretend it is just for the fun of it. But yeah, I think NECA missed a trick there by doing that. Anyway, enough of the head sculpt chat. You get 5 hands. Now, this is what I don't understand about the hands either. You know, I mean, I'm not one for really messing about changing hands. I usually change the hands, find the one that I want him to hold a weapon, and then just keep him in that. I'm not one for keep changing hands. I might mess around with the head sculpts now and again and swap them over just to get them in different poses, and then swap the weapons over. Like one time I might have someone holding an axe, one time I might have someone holding a knife, and swap it over now and again. But very rarely I do. I usually just put them on the pose and that's it. Sometimes I move around for the collections, but that's it. But yeah, 5 hands, I don't really understand because you get the hands that are on the body and then 5 extra hands, which doesn't make sense. They might as well just even it up and give you 6 hands, so then you can swap both hands. I don't really get it. 5 hands, that means, you know, there's one odd one. You know, 7 hands, which doesn't make any sense to me, you know. They can't even give an extra hand. But anyway, so that's that. You get the pumpkin that you see in it, and I believe you see a knife in that at the beginning of H2O. So I believe it's, well, it must be like that. I believe you see that with a knife going in it at the beginning of H2O, I believe. It's not the, although this pumpkin is the one that you see in it, it's not the best pumpkin, you know, it's not even like carved or anything, but that's, I believe that's how you see it at the beginning of H2O, that pumpkin. So that's pretty good. There's not really a lot as far as to go as sort of weaponry, because I don't believe there's much used in that. It's not as many as like H6 or Resurrection. I think Resurrection you get more, but you get sort of a couple of bits. You get 2 knives, and you know how many times have we seen this now, especially with the Halloween figures. It's just the typical, usual Myers kitchen style, big bladed, big knife that you get with pretty much most of the figures. And now they're sort of giving like a couple, 2 or 3 knives with each figure. So yeah, you get 1 bloodied and 1 clean. You know, so there's nothing new about these. You know, we've got these a few times before, kitchen style knives. But you know, you're going to get that with every figure because that's Myers' favourite weapon of choice. Now, what's another cool accessory? Now, I don't believe we've ever got one of these, as far as I know, with any figure at all, is a skate, which is obviously used to kill one of the teenagers in H2O. Now, you don't actually see him getting killed by Myers, but all you just see is his dead body and the rollerblade sticking out of his head. I think it's sticking right in his face. Like it's sticking right in his face like that. I think it's sticking right in his face. I don't think it's sticking right in his head. It's sort of like in his face. So you don't see Myers killing him, but you see this. So that's pretty cool to have that as an accessory. And then the other thing is the axe, which is like the weapon that's obviously used to kill paramedic slash Myers at the end of H2O. And I believe that looks quite like one of the ones you get with the Bride of Chucky figures. There's sort of like an axe there. It might be a different style of knife, but it's quite similar. I know it's got a red handle. But yeah, so not much. But yeah, it's one of them films that sort of doesn't use that many sort of weapons, just a few bits. I think H6 uses quite a few different weapons. But yeah, that's pretty much it as regards to the weapons. So yeah, I think with this, it's sort of, you can play around with it. As I said, I think you can have it either as, you can even have him sort of, if you had another one of these, you could sort of have him as the paramedic and just recreate that sort of scene where supposedly Myers put the paramedic, and have him actually in the collection, but really it's the paramedic, not Myers. Not saying that I'm going to do, but it is an option. Yeah, but as I said, I think I'm going to go with the head sculpt that looks quite good. I always have a job getting these head sculpts on. I think with this, I'm probably just going to have him holding a knife. Go quite basic with it. I don't think there's anything else, because I said you don't see him holding the skate in his hand. You only see the victim with a skate in his head. The axe is sort of like at the end. So I think that really is the only other option, isn't like holding the knife. Which one is the knife? And some of these look the same. Thing open hands. I hope I've covered everything that I was going to talk about in this. I'll try and make these as fun as I can. I like to talk about the films as well, and just sort of have fun with it. So we're going to have him just holding one of the knives. Keep it quite basic with this type of look. I think that's about right. Yeah, so I'm pretty much going to have him with that head sculpt and just holding one of them kitchen knives, because I think with the other ones with the eyes showing like that, it just looks pretty ridiculous. But yeah, I'm pretty much going to have him on display like that from H2O. But yeah, I think that's good. I'd say with this, the exception of maybe, as I said, doing the paramedic head sculpt. Quite accurate to the movie. Maybe 8 out of 10, maybe even 9, because I don't think there's certainly not really a lot wrong with this. I don't feel NECA not really get things wrong, especially of late. I mean, they've really stepped up, so you can't really criticise their the work they've been doing this year. They've been going crazy, really stepped up. If they keep going on like this next year, I mean, but yeah, it's pretty good. As I said, it's quite accurate to the movie, where the masks look quite bad like they do in the film. But yeah, as I said, 8, maybe even leaning towards a 9, because I just don't think, as I said, apart from the trick of having that paramedic head sculpt and having the reveal, can't think of anything that's wrong with this figure, unless anyone else can think of anything that's wrong with this. I mean, I can't really, to be honest. I think it's pretty spot on to the movie. And there is the movie. Planning on watching that in a few weeks when it is actually Halloween. I usually save all the Halloween films, and then watch them on the weekend. It falls on Halloween, like 31st, so I usually watch them like, if it falls on like, you know, between like usually Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then I just watch all the Halloween films over that weekend. And as I said, I usually keep this Resurrection and a couple of others on the Saturday, so I've got them to watch. Yeah, and I've seen this quite a few times. It doesn't matter how many times you watch it, I always look forward to watching it and always enjoy it. And I'm looking forward to watching it again and sort of messing around with the figure when I do. His head's just pretty much like it does in the end of the movie when his head falls off. But yeah, pretty good figure. I definitely would say get this. It's definitely a good figure. I don't think I like it as much as the H6 figure. I think that's just an awesome figure. It's certainly not as. It's certainly in the terms of quality, it's not as good. But yeah, this is quite a good figure. I don't think it's as good as the Resurrection one that's coming up. That might be. That's going to be one that's going to be really good. But yeah, it's pretty good. And certainly if you like H2O, you know, because I know a lot of people do like that film. As I said, I think it's all right. I think there's a few problems, but it's all right. But I think there's some people that really love the movie, and you know, you're gonna really love having this figure. And if you haven't got it, definitely get it if you love H2O. So guys, that's going to be our review on this. I think it's slightly longer than I wanted to do it, but yeah, I was always trying to have fun and make these videos as cool as I can. My throat's dry as a bone, so I'm going to have to get a drink now. So guys, that's it. And thanks for watching if you have, and for putting up with me and blabbering on for half an hour. Feel free to just skip. I mean, if you wanted to check the figure out, you can turn the sound off if you can't. My voice is too annoying, and I've got a pretty annoying British accent. But yeah, feel free to check it out if you want to. Stop by, check it out if you haven't checked out anyone else's review. Hope you guys enjoy it. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And yeah, thanks for watching. See you guys in the next video. Take care, bye for now. See you soon.